Okay, so now we will do the same thing, which is basically word by word and the Quranic grammar or the Arabic grammar of these verses. And then at the end, what we can do, inshallah, if people are interested, we can use that for the review, like, you know, how we did it in our last in-person session, to actually review the verses that we covered in the last class and put you guys on the spot. Let's work through it together, because I know most of the people don't do homework, which is highly recommended. Look, if you just focus on learning one verse a day or even one verse a week, you know, it will add up to 52 verses in the years, right? So incremental benefit would be there so much for you all. So make a target and at least learn one verse a week. Okay, why are these pages not responding? Bad timing. Okay, so what we use, as those who are regular or have seen the videos, we use Corpus as our main resource for the online practice. It seems like Chrome is hanging up, and we have these PDF charts that we will refer to in our playlist for Quranic Arabic. Let me show you something quickly. So this is the playlist, right, on the YouTube channel. So the first one is demoing how to use Corpus if you haven't done that before. The second word, we talk about like some daily activities you can do to increase your Quranic vocabulary. And the third one is actually showing you an app. So if you prefer an app, which I think is easier on the phone, you can use this app by Quranic. It's called Al-Quran, and we show you how to use that to build your vocabulary. And as a recap, see, our approach is a very direct approach, right? So you can have different approaches to learning Arabic. Some people go into a lot of in-depth approach, like with grammar and all that, and it is useful. It is used. Did I stop recording? No, I don't remember. Hope I did. If not, then I'll have to manually cut it. Anyways, so so our approach is a direct approach. You look at the word, you build Quranic vocabulary, and then you restarting recording. Yes, okay. So and then we basically supplement the grammar. And one of the things that I mentioned, that look, there's two types of grammars. Like the basic grammar is useful for you to understand, right? So the objective number one is be able to look at the words and be able to understand what the verse is saying. And then the objective two, which I think when you learn more in-depth grammar, it actually helps with memorization. I don't think it's very needed or relevant to understanding Quran itself. For some of the detailed rules of grammar, it helps, especially when you're memorizing, and it can protect you and make it easy for you to not make some of these, like, you know, fatha, kasra, dhamma mistakes, and so on and so forth. But for the basic stuff, what we need to do is two things, which we'll take a look at right now. Be able to recognize the root letters of the word. And the way this helps is if you're able to recognize the pattern. So what you would usually see is you would see a word, but then most of these words would have prefixes and suffixes. So if you can recognize the prefixes and suffixes patterns, then you're left with the core of the word. And then you just have to think about those 3 root letters or 4 root letters and see where else have I seen it. And it's okay, it has something to do with blessing. It has something to do with Quran. It has something to do with worship, as an example. And then you understand the pattern and you understand the core of it, and then that would give you the meaning. Let's put this all into action, so hopefully it will make more sense. Okay, going to Quran corpus. Okay, now this thing is in my way. Let's hide this. Hide floating panel. Corpus. Please load. Bismillah. I think Chrome is going to crash on me. Not a great time. Don't crash. Okay. Maybe I can close some windows. Oh, by the way, if you want like a basic tafsir, like I think you can just Google up Kalam Allah Tafsir Saadi. That's like really brief. It can give you a good tafsir, basic without too much details. Or there's a tafsir that's embedded in Quran.com as well. Okay. All right, exit pages. There you go. So if you look at here, this icon of the book, this will actually take you to Tafsir ibn Kathir embedded in Quran.com. All right, so let's go back to corpus. Good. Surah AlHaaqqah, verse number 38. Okay, here, I think what we can do is, especially if you don't have any background noise in your room, unmute yourself. So I will say the Arabic and I want you to say the English, right? And that's how it will start sticking in your minds, inshallah. All right, so unmute yourself for those of you who do not have background noise, okay? Fala. Okay.
I think no one saw you.
So what does fala mean? So I'll just say the Arabic and you repeat after me the English. Let's try if that works. If not, then we'll try some other way. Fala.
But nay.
Good. So let's do it a few times. Fala.
But nay.
All right, good. So just like that, everyone can speak together, hopefully, okay, when we do this next. So yeah, so here you have two things, right? So you have fa, which is, you know, as they are even saying here, look, there it's in blue, it says rem. Rem means, you know, resumption particle. So it's just like, you know, as you're connecting sentences, so you may see fa for then. So, you know, just continuing the sentence. La means not, right? La means not. Now here, uqsimu means
I swear.
I swear, right? So now where's the I coming from? The I is coming from the Hamza in the front, right? That's giving you the meaning of I. And then Qaf, Sin, Mim is the root letters here. That is for qasm, to take an oath. Bima.
By what?
By what? Okay, so this is very common, very famous. So be is with or by, right? So that's just like a harf, it's a particle, it's a preposition. So it means be or with. Okay, so we see this, for example, in bismi, right? So bismillahi, bismi, in the name, right? Or by the name. So be is again a prefix. It can have several meanings depending on the sentence. Ma is for what. Okay, bima, for what or by what. Tubasirun. Okay, now here.
See.
So you see, right? Now let me break it down. For those of you who have been regular, you already know this. I'll show you a verb chart as well. So remember what I said, that what you need to do is to simplify your life, right? So you should be able to, when you look at something, oh, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 letters, but you should be able to break it down. And when you break it down, then you're left with the core and the particles that you have broken down. So the particles that you would have broken down, oh, I already know this thing because I've seen it so many times. And then I just have to think about the core. So what are the attachments here, like Lego pieces, right? So you see something built with a Lego, you're just able to break it down and then you see the core. So what you have is two things. One is Waw Noon. Okay, so Waw Noon is for, what does Waw Noon tells us?
For plurality.
Very good, plurality. So that gives you that plurality. And then you have ta. What is the ta for?
It's to indicate that it's in second person.
Good. Okay. And now you're left with the core. The core is ba, sad, ra. Okay. I see someone's hand is raised. Who is that? That's
I just have a question about the word tubsirun, right? So there's a dhamma on the ta, which indicates that it should be majhul, so it should be passive. But then we see the translation and it says you see instead of, you know, you have been seen by, you know, someone else, right? So I'm just wondering how come that's the case. Yeah.
Okay, good. So here's a caveat. Okay, so first of all, the call will end in, how much time do we have? One second, if I escape. Okay, so we have about 9 minutes. So when the call ends, you can just use the same link to join again, right? So when the call ends, just wait 30 seconds or maybe a minute, and then you can join this with the same link. We'll get this sorted out. If you're continuing Zoom, I'll just purchase the membership. That's not an issue. But for today, just use the same link to join back. Okay, now let's go back to the question, which is very important. So most of the time, I'll give you some rules and it will work most of the time. There are certain times that it will break, and that will be fixed as we learn more rules. But don't let that discourage you. But I'll answer your question in a second. But let's just understand the tubsirun first, and then I'll answer your question. Okay, so for the basic rule, the ta is for you and the waw noon is for plural. And then, so this means you all. Because of the waw noon, you will translate it with you all. If there was no waw noon, it would just be you. Is that part clear? If it's not clear to anyone, let me know. Raise hand, type in the chat, say something. And I'll show you that chart as well. So let's take a look at our verb chart. So it's in the same folder. Oh, where is my Quranic circles? Okay, so verb chart. So you see here, we looked at it last week as well. The ta. So if it starts with the ta or ya or hamza, then it means it's present or future tense. That's one thing we learned last time. Waw noon is for plural, and then you have the core in the middle. So here the core is ba, sad, ra. Okay. Now you need to think about what is ba, sad, ra. What have I seen about ba, sad, ra? Have I learned this word? So those of you who have been in from the beginning, you were here for Surah Al-Mulk, you would remember we saw this in Surah Al-Mulk, right? This means to see. It has something to do with the sight, you know, farji'il basara hal tara min futur. And I think we have seen it in other places as well. But if not, now that's your time that you need to add to your vocabulary. Ba, sad, ra has something to do with seeing. So tubsirun, you all see. Now we have a situation here is about the passives. Right now, this is not fitting that pattern. Why is it not fitting that pattern? So that's something advanced. Okay, so you have two options. One option is, look, my basic rule is not working. That's fine. I'll take a hit and I'll move on. This basic rule has been working for me most of the time, no problem. Sometimes it won't work. Sometimes my battery will die, but most of the time my phone works. So I'm okay with that. But now if you want to take it further, there's a concept that I think I was telling to one of you, perhaps Rahil last week, that the verbs in the Arabic language have many different forms. The most common form is this form that you see here. This is called form 3. Form 3. The word that you are looking at is actually form 4. That pattern is form 4. Let me show you what that means. So as I said, it's an advanced concept. If you don't get it, don't worry about it. See, it's saying here, form 4. Let me show you all forms quickly. I think it's here somewhere. I will add a chart to it when we get to that concept. But for now, forms. There you go. So do not let this discourage you guys. This is like an advanced thing I'm telling you about right now. Look, so form 1 is a simple fa'ala form. Form 2, what happens in form 2, the middle letter or the second root letter gets doubled. Fa'ala, like allama, right? And it gives you some details about when you would use that. Form 3, oh, actually, my bad. I think I used the wrong number. So the chart we're looking at is form 1, okay? Form 3 is fa'ala. So you have an additional alif in the root letter, fa'ala. So that's the pattern that you have. Now form 4 is af'ala. So that's a different form, and that's the form that we are looking at right now. So because of that, some of those patterns will not match, but most of the time what you said will work. Is that good enough for now, just for our current level?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So, okay, continuing on, wama and what, right? So same thing here, bima, by what, and then wama and what, okay? Same, la, same thing, we already know this thing, tubsirun, same pattern, right? So you see already you are getting returns on your investment. So if you invest time learning about and making friendship with ba, sad, ra, something to do with seeing, and the pattern of, you know, the second person and the waw noon, boom, you're now seeing returns on this investment. Okay, next is innahu. Indeed. Guys, innahu.
Indeed, it is.
Okay, good. Now, where is this coming from? So inna means indeed. Okay, so that's a very common one. You definitely want to make friendship with inna. Let's do it a few times. We'll do it 5 times. Inna, everyone.
Indeed.
And even if you're not unmute,
In,
because you have noise in the background, just say it out loud. It will help you. Inna,
Indeed.
inna,
indeed,
inna.
indeed.
Indeed.
Okay, good. The next thing you have is who. Where is this coming from? So remember our pronoun chart. Let's find this Google Drive here. All right, so we go back and we were doing pronoun chart in practice for those people who showed up for practice. Oh, not this one. This one here. See, the attach, when you're attaching it, it would be with who or he. So who means he. Innahu, indeed, he. So I mean, here we are translating is as it, but in Arabic, every noun is either masculine or feminine. So innahu, if you want to, you can say indeed he or indeed it.
Indeed. He.
Okay, where did it go? Laqawlu. Also, this la, guys, we talked about it several times last time. What is la? Just lam fatha la is?
Lam al-ta'keed.
Yes, lam al-ta'keed, which means surely. Okay, so for our purposes, if you don't know it's called lam al-ta'keed, no problem. What's important is for you to see la means surely. La means surely. Here, if you're using corpus, vocabulary or glossary, they will use EMPH for emphasis, and you will see that for coming for other verbs as well. Like qawlu, qawl is the word, statement. Okay, it's similar to the word qala. Okay, which we have seen several times. La qawlu rasulin. Very simple, right? From Ra, Sin, Lam, from Rasul, messenger, Kareem, noble. Okay, so these are relatively common words. If you don't know, that's the thing. Just focus on one verse and pick up on that vocabulary. Okay, wama and not. So here now you're seeing 2 examples of ma. So the first one was ma was being used as what?
La.
So here, wa is not, right?
La.
And here you're seeing it as not. Okay, wama huwa biqawli. B is the with or qawl, the statement, sha'ir, a poet. Qalilan, little. Okay, I'm just saying Arabic and English both. I don't like that. You guys are making me work more. Ma
Is what?
here. Tu'minun, you believe. So same pattern. See, the ta is for you. Wanun makes it plural, so it becomes you all. And then what do you have in the middle? What's the core? Hamza mim nun. What is Hamza mim nun? That's related to iman.
Iman.
So tu'minun, you all believe. Okay, I want to show you something else. So see huwa here, right? So huwa is for he or any masculine noun. So huwa represents masculine noun, as we saw in our chart. Okay, this thing keeps coming in front of me.
It means two person.
Here it is, huwa, right? So when it comes by itself, it's huwa, which is he. So, وَمَا هُوَ بِقَوْلِ الشَّاعِرِ قَلِيلًا مَا تُؤْمِنُونَ. Wala and not biqawli, all are repeated words. Kahin is now a new word, which means a soothsayer. Kahin, a soothsayer. So if you want to have that relationship, you say, okay, kaf ha nun. Kahan is something to do with a soothsayer. Now, if you wanted to, sometimes it helps to see other examples of the word.